Good Monday morning, my peeps. This is Adrienne podcast, and we are yapping this morning about events because I had the funniest experience. So, my husband is also a consultant because every now and then, when I have an event and I have to leave or I have something else going on, I have him step in. And so, I really wanted to chat about this because I kind of had a big aha moment, right? So, my daughter needed her hair done for homecoming. So I went and I got him all set up and ready to go. And while I was doing it, I realized how much stuff we take for granted, right? The consultants who have been around for a while and done events, right? We are used to this. We know the setup, we know what we're doing, all the things. So I'm going to walk through all of it today, just to kind of help you get an idea of some of the things that you might be missing. And please use this podcast for anyone on your team who's going to have an event for the first time, because I think that there's a lot of stuff we forget to tell them, because we're so used to it and we just do it like it's second nature. So, the first thing, obviously, when you are setting up at an event is you got to make sure you know if they have a table or if you're bringing a table, right? Because that's where we're going to stand behind. So, I'm always like tablecloth, and chair. Those are the things you need for the basis, right? So make sure you talk to them about how big your spot is. Have a folding table that's super light that you can bring with you for the ones that don't have a table set up for you. And always bring a chair. I noticed that a lot of people forget to bring a chair. So if they don't provide them, make sure you bring one for those couple moments you might get to sit down. Now, of course, you barely get to sit down, but a lot of times I'll even put my bag of all my stuff in it on the chair so it's higher up so I can do that. Um, and along with that, like if it's a certain season, right? Like we're going into fall, or if you have, holiday season, like make sure you bring a couple little decorations to just make your table pop a little bit. And also, some people, if you're selling product, not everybody sells product, but if you are, think about shelving if you need that. So that's your main basic setup, right? Like you have to have all those things in order to be able to stand there and talk with people. Now, the thing that I think people miss the most, and when I was setting this up, I had to explain it, right? Is how you're promoting your income opportunity. And if you have info packets with that, right? So that when somebody's interested in possibly doing what you're doing to make some added income, do you know what you're going to say? Do you know when you're going to talk to them next? How do you have your setup? So this is really important, you guys, because so many people just think about sales at events, and that is not all an event is for. Yes, you'll get some sales, but this is all about making connections, right? Who might want to be your next, teammate? Who might want to have a little, in-home get together to help grow your business? I mean, this is about meeting people. That's the whole point. So I always make sure I have something for the extra income opportunity, something on the table, and then a little informational packet to hand out. And I always put a post-it note on top of it so I can make sure to get their name, their phone number, and when they want to talk. Because I can say, I don't have a lot of time. Obviously, I'm working this event, but I would love to chat with you outside of this. Take this packet home, and when can I follow up with you? So if you put a little sticky note, then you can keep all those sticky notes and you know who to follow up with. So that's just a little tip of something I do to make sure that I don't forget to follow up with anybody, and make sure you know what days you're available following the event. So, pick a couple of days and times that you're available, so that you could just spout it out to them. Hey, can I call you on Tuesday at 5 or something like that, so that you know exactly what you're doing. All of these things I'm going to list is going to help you from being frazzled at an event. Because that's what I noticed, right? When you get real busy, a lot of people are like, oh my gosh, I don't know when I'm free this week. I don't know what's going on. So if you have all this kind of pre-planned, again, it's going to help you in the long haul. The other thing, along with that income, is a lot of people forget about promoting, like hosting an experience, right? Well, whatever your product is, for people to be able to come and check it out somewhere, like we've talked about in the past, whether it's in a home, whether it's at a restaurant, I mean, whatever you're doing. And again, having info packets for that. And one thing that I highly recommend is having dates available that you're free, having those dates on an envelope or something that has the information in there. so that people can pick those dates right then and there. And you don't have to pull out your calendar and figure out when you're available. You already have the dates on the front of the packets. So then you can write down again their name and the date they chose, and you've already booked. Then you're done. Like, right. You just follow up and you start the host coaching after that. So, those are just two really smart ways to be able to make the most of your events. So the reason I bring those up first after your tablecloth and table is because I do think those should be very predominant on your table, because that is how you're going to get future business and future paychecks. Of course, you need a way for you to take names and info. So whether that's a drawing, whether you have, some sort of client care system, a little piece of paper that they can fill out and put into the drawing, or a QR code where they can scan and put their information in, you need to be getting information, because the only way to have clients, you guys, is to have a way to contact them and say, do you need more recipes? Did you enjoy your product? Do you have any questions? Right? That is number one. So you have to have a way to contact them. And then also you need catalogs and business cards, right? Catalogs or business cards or whatever, so that they have a way to contact you and know what your product is and what you're offering and be able to follow up with you. So make sure you have those as well. And then if you're selling product, you need bags, right? If you're going to let them cash and carry, you've got to have bags. So those are really cheap on Amazon or, anywhere like that has those thank you bags. But don't forget that. And the one thing also, if you're selling product, that I find huge and important is having a product list already including tax and everything. Some people will label their products with that price, and that's fine, but make sure your label is somewhere like on the bottom or not seen, because if they're giving your product as a gift and you've slapped a label on it that's going to rip off, they can't give it as a gift. So make sure your pricing, I just make a list that I have, so I know what each product costs. I don't put stickers on mine, but if you do, just make sure you're putting them on the bottom or the back or somewhere where it's not going to affect the presentation of your products. Because I've seen people with giant neon stickers on the front, and it ruins the look of your product. Your company has worked really hard to brand themselves a certain way, and then if you stick a sticker over it, it kind of changes everything. Along with that, I would make sure that on your product, again, on the back or the bottom, you have your information on a nice sticker, like a pretty sticker. I use return address labels. But so again, if they're using the product and they want to get a hold of you, they know how, but don't ruin the front, don't ruin the presentation. So those are some tips on if you're actually selling product. And then the last thing you need, since you're selling product, or even if you're not selling product, but people can purchase from you online, if you're selling product in person, you need to have cash for change. You need to have a way to take credit cards. And if you're doing Venmo or PayPal or whatever, you need to have QR codes for those so they can scan them real easy and pay you super quick. I just put those in a little picture frame, all my QR codes, so that people can just scan them, and it's super simple. If you don't have, like, you're not selling there, but you're selling somewhere, you need a link or QR code to order from your website. So make sure that you have some way for them to get to your website to place an order right there. And you can do, however you do that, just make sure that there is an opportunity for them to be able to place an order right then and there too. So these are some of the things that I realized when, like, I was trying to set my husband up. I'm like, this is a lot, people need to know these things, but having that product list made it so much easier because you're not calculating things right then and there on the spot. So that was super helpful. But all of these things, I realized that so many times we just tell, I've heard people say, like, well, they just said, just go to the event and you can, sell your product. But if you're not telling them all these things, and I have a free checklist attached to this, so you can go sign in and get your checklist for your event. So you can have this, and feel free to use this podcast for your team for, so they can sign up for the checklist, so they can do this so super simple, because I think we forget a lot of these things when we're going to set up. So many people are in a sales mindset that they're just like, I'm just going to go do this, and don't think all the way through on how we can keep getting clients and then have a follow-up program, right? So after this event is done, it's not done. You still have these Post-it notes from people who are interested in the income opportunity and maybe hosting an experience, right? And then you also have all this client information you've got. So it's so great that you can follow up with them and say, hey, how are you enjoying your product? Or did you still want to place an order, or whatever it is you talked about? You will be able to then follow up with them. And that, you guys, is how you make clients. I would also recommend on that sheet, if you have like a VIP page, whether it's on Facebook or a TikTok account or whatever it is, however you promote your business, that you also have that QR code. So anybody who's on those social media outlets, right? Like if they TikTok, if they're on Facebook, wherever, the Instagram, whatever, they can just scan it and automatically like your page or follow your page so that they can get information from you in the future. This is all about you grabbing clients and being able to show them what your value is. And I know I just had that branding session podcast. So if you haven't listened to that, go back, because that's what this is all about. You're looking for your target market when you are at these events, people who you can show how your product will benefit them and help them in the long run. And then you get to follow up with them, right? And keep that client and keep showing them how your product is going to benefit them. So I hope this helps you guys. Please hop on, grab the event checklist, use it for whomever needs it. But remember, the things that we take for granted all the time, people who have been direct sales for a while, you guys, somebody new, it's a lot. I looked at my husband's face when I was like, giving him all the details, and he was like, whoa, this is a lot, right? And he ended up having to keep my cell phone, and I had to take his because I had all my ways to credit card and Venmo and all that on my phone. So you got to make sure all that stuff is set up on your phone ahead of time. Make sure you know if they have Wi-Fi, and if they do, right when you get there, make sure you get their Wi-Fi code. I want you to be so prepared that when you show up, everything is seamless, because it's already going to be a lot, right? People are going to be coming and going all day. So the more prepared you are on the front end, the better the event will be, because you're going to be ready for all the things that come your way at an event. So I would love for you to come to the community, grab that free checklist. If you have suggestions, things that have worked for you or something you forgot about, please share that, because that's what I love about our community. Everybody's sharing what they need to remember, all these different things that are working for them or didn't work for them. And I want you to be able to do that in our community. So you guys, until next week, when Adrienne talks, realize the power is within you.